All right, we're going to start here in the chat. I'm going to put a link to the slide deck you're looking at, which we'll be presenting from. There's the slide deck. Well, welcome. Again, we are recording this for folks who can't be with us live here. We're going to talk about learning conditions. And before we start, this is the second of our PL. On the first Teal day, we talked about building relationships in your classroom, and we demonstrated some strategies to do that. Even if you weren't with us, if you could, in the chat here in the Google Meet, just let us know how you started your school year by building relationships, whether you use some of the techniques we showed you in the first module or just some of your own. So let us know what opening strategies you used or you are using. How do you connect with your kids in your classrooms? You can go ahead and use the Google chat, or since we have a small live group here, if you want to just unmute and let us know, that's also welcome. While you're thinking of that, I'll share a strategy that I've seen in one of the schools I'm working with, a middle school. A lot of kids in his middle school classroom are very attached to their screens, and they used Pear Deck strategy to set those norms on how they're going to use those screens in his classroom. And he incorporated student voice and suggestions using a Pear Deck activity to establish his classroom norms of how they will work together with technology and without technology. So that was one strategy I saw. And we also have some coaches monitoring the chat here before we get started. One of our participants says that social contract, very good. We see a lot of social contracts being created in schools. So that was demonstrated in Module 1. So yeah, good to see that. I know I hear from a lot of schools that, again, kids are coming back from a all virtual environment. So to come into the real classroom, have to renew and review those social contracts and often refer back to them. All right, so here's who we are. So I'm Brian Dino. I'm the Northwest Elementary digital coach. I also handle a couple other middle schools over there in Northwest Denver. And I'm just going to, you'll meet these coaches in the breakout rooms in just a moment here. We also have Zuri Hunter, who's the coach for near Northeast Elementary Schools. We have Brittany Horton. She's the Southeast Elementary coach. Shayla Williams, who's the far Northeast Elementary coach. And myself, Brian Dino. And we also have Caitlin Bott with us. She's the Southwest Elementary coach. And then finally, we have Matthew Willems, who is your Central Elementary coach. So again, you'll meet them in just a moment in breakout rooms. We'll talk about that. Just a few quick review items here about the transition priorities for Denver Public Schools. 3 big transition priorities this year: equity, accelerating learning by re-envisioning education, and third, social, emotional, and mental health. I see some participants here. I know at some of your schools you're doing the formal SEL curriculum, and some of us are helping with that. So a big priority for a lot of our schools. Our long-term foundation here, just a review of, we are committed to providing rigorous and culturally and linguistically responsive instruction to our students, aiming to get them to be independent learners who are on track to graduate, and ensuring that each student has their social, emotional, and academic needs met. What's highlighted in green here is really what we're aiming for today, is to actively deepen and expand those culturally responsive, asset-based mindsets for all of you, for all of our educators. So hopefully we'll do that by throughout this session here. Again, those three big buckets at the top there, those are the three big buckets. And here's some of the more specific action plans for local choices for schools. And just a reminder that, again, these are the district-wide goals, which really haven't shifted. But again, focus on equity, accelerated learning, and SEL health. A reminder, if you want to get PDU credit, so you're in a PL today for Teal Day, but if you want to take this to the next level and get a professional development unit credit, if you want to get 3 graduate level course credits, which can be used within DPS to increase your salary, you can take our PDU. So if you take our PDU, you're going to do a little more coursework. You're already doing it right here with us today, but you will also sign up for additional coaching where you will meet with your digital coach to observe and do some coaching cycles throughout this school year. That's a big part of the PDU. If you want to sign up for that PDU, there's a link right there. When you click that link, it'll bring you into Learning Space, and it looks like on my screen here, there's the actual PDU, and that's how you formally hit the register button there. So that's there's the link for the PDU. And if you do sign up for that, you might want to put this on your calendar. There's a launch meeting on October 11th at 4 p.m. Right. So again, we are recording this. You see, we have some new folks joining us. In a moment, we're going to, no, here we are. We're going to talk about the hands-on for this Teal Day session right now. Here's our educator mindsets for being culturally responsive. This session today, we're going to focus on learning conditions, which is as facilitators of learning, teachers co-create a safe, joyful, rigorous, and personalized classroom environment that honors student voice and encourages ownership. So that's what we are aiming for. There's 2 key actions associated with that. And the first action is giving our students tasks that have a high cognitive demand, and they include multiple solution strategies and representations. The second action with that is provide a variety of opportunities for students to authentically process information and relate it to their experiences and their background knowledge. So to do that, you're going to pick one of these 3 strategies. There's 3 ways to set up these learning conditions. And as I review these, think about, you're going to pick one. If you're in our live session here, you're going to pick one of these strategies. And in a moment, you're going to go to a breakout room with a digital coach, and you're going to get some hands-on experience with one of these 3 strategies. First strategy is a real-world application of content, where you're going to talk about real-world context, how you can use a tool called Pear Deck to generate some student conversations about the content. You'll see an example of either Screencastify or Flipgrid for student reflection and connection. And you also see a use of Edpuzzle on how to create real-world experiences. So that's strategy 1. So if you're interested in that, in just a moment, we'll show you where you go for that. If you want to learn about strategy 2, which is how to activate the background knowledge of your students, we'll be showing you 3 ways to do that using Pear Deck, Edpuzzle, and Flipgrid. Or the third strategy is authentically processing information. And if you want to see how to use that using HyperDocs, Google Drawings, or graphic organizers like Google Drawings or Canva, you can pick that one. So pick one of these 3 strategies. I'll leave them up there for just a moment. Pick one of those 3, and then I'll tell you what we're going to do here in just a moment. Okay, so you're going to pick one of those strategies, and Here's what we're going to do. In just a moment, you're going to have a breakout room just for that strategy. And there'll be one or two coaches who will walk you through it. In that breakout room, there's also an opportunity to independently learn, but they'll cover that in the breakout room. But our goal is for you to be doing some workshopping so you actually find something you can put right into your classroom. And then when you're done in the breakout room, we'll come back for just a short debrief here to share out what you learned. So again, there's the three strategies. Pick one. And we're going to go to a breakout room. If you don't, my on it posting. Thank you, Shayla, for posting in the slide deck again. All right, so you have your strategy, and now here are the breakout rooms. So there they are for strategy 1. You're going to click on that link, go to that breakout room. For strategy 2, just stay here. For strategy 3, there's your breakout room. So go to your breakout rooms, and in about 1 minute, we're going to cover each of those strategies and those separate